is an honor to welcome you to the Sierra Leone Business Forum. Welcome all of you that have traveled far and beyond to be here. That is because you have, I believe, you have done your research on Sierra Leone, and you know Sierra Leone is the new destination for business opportunity, for your leisure and pleasure if you want to go there for tourism. In terms of mining, I know when people talk about Sierra Leone, the first thing that comes to mind is mining. We talk about diamond, gold, silver, and all of these things about our country. But our president's first and foremost agenda is human capital development. He had made it his priority because he believed that for our nation to grow, we have to empower our people. And we're here today not to talk about everything that we have in Sierra Leone, because we just want to give you a teaser to enable you to come to our beautiful country. If you've traveled to Africa before and you haven't been to Sierra Leone, then you have not gone to Africa yet. Until you go to Sierra Leone, then you know what Africa really means. We are the Lion Mountain with a president that has a zest, and our president is determined not only to change our country, but to open and enlighten and empower as many people as possible while he's there. He has given us women the opportunity to lead. He has seen us as partners in development and has given us the space to breathe, because he believes if we are to succeed in our nation, we have to work as partners. So we want to say thank you, His Excellency, for honoring our invitation as the Commissioner General of the Expo here. Thank you for coming, and thank you for bringing all your delegation to the Expo. We're here, ladies and gentlemen, to invite you to our beautiful country. They will do the presentation. We're not presenting on everything that we have to offer in Sierra Leone because we want you to come. And when you come, you see the rest of everything that we have to offer. But with the few things that they will discuss here today, I want you to know that we will be waiting for you in Sierra Leone, the Lion Mountain, the country that believes that when we work in partnership, we'll succeed. Thank you so very much.
A man of conviction, and a man with a deep commitment to his people. Since our first meeting, I've made a commitment to do everything in my power to support his vision. And here we are today, looking for you to walk with us on that same journey as our partners in developing human capital, energy access, gender parity, and economic growth. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for His Excellency, Dr. Julius Madabio.
Thank you very much. Let's sit down, please. Madam First Lady, the Chief Minister, Ministers, Deputy Ministers, Honorable Members of Parliament, our distinguished guests, welcome to this forum. A lot is going to be discussed about the potential of Sierra Leone and the fact that it is the best destination for your investment. I'm here to crown it all and to confirm to you that indeed Sierra Leone is ready for your business. We have worked very hard in the past 3 years to shape up an ecosystem that is conducive for investment. We are fighting corruption. We have fought very hard to make sure that the economic fundamentals of our country is strong. We have regained the confidence of the international financial community, and we have worked very hard to develop all the things that have made Sierra Leone not the best destination for investment. Of course, the history still lingers in the minds of a lot of people. And for a lot of people, when you speak about Sierra Leone, it's about Ebola, it's about the war, it's about corruption, it's about some of the worst things that have happened in our history. I'm here to say to you that we have a new administration, and under the new direction of my government, we have changed the narrative, and we continue to change the narrative. Therefore, we are here seeking patient investors who want to do business in a stable and democratic country so that we can share in the benefit. My business as president is to make sure that you can have a fair returns on your investment, and to make sure that you can repatriate that which belongs to you in a very free environment. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to invite you to Sierra Leone and to let you know that we will not only welcome you, but we accompany you all throughout to set up your company, make sure it's functional, and to give you after-service support. This is why I'm here, and I'm happy that you are all here to listen to what we have to say, and I expect you in Sierra Leone. Thank you.
Your Excellency, thank you for your words, and reiterating the sentiment of First Lady as well, that the change is with us in Sierra Leone. On my last visit, I was overwhelmed by the hospitality of the people, the hospitality of the government, the fantastic work on my last visit of the launch of the geodata survey. And that leads me nicely into my next introduction. I'd like to welcome onto stage Deputy Minister Anne-Marie Bailey-Harding, Deputy Minister of Mines and Natural Resources.
Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, retired Brigadier Julius Manager, our Commissioner General for the Expo, the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Fatima Jabi Malabio, colleague ministers, and our able investors. Good morning. I'm happy to be here this morning to do a quick presentation on my country's mineral resources. And I'm here to say to you that Sierra Leone is a very beautiful country with a population of about 7 million people. We are known for diamonds. But I want to tell you this morning, I want to bring the good news to you, and I want to preach it to you also, that we have other minerals apart from diamonds. We have bauxite, we have iron ore, we have rutile, and we have huge coltan reserves. Coltan now, for us, is the kid on the block. And I want to say to you, apart from all of this, our economy is heavily dependent on agriculture and mining. In 2003, Sierra Leone became a key partner in the Kimberley process aimed at sanitizing the trade of our diamonds. We did this because we want to reduce diamond smuggling in our country. That is why we registered as one of the first countries to register with the Kimberley process. Our country also subscribes to the Extractive Industry International, Transparency International. We also did this because we want you, the investors, to have the assurance that we are ready, our country is ready for a fair mining, and our policies are also in place. The Sierra Leone government, under the astute leadership of the President, HE, remains to be focused on transparent governance of the mining sector in Sierra Leone and the creation of competitive mines and mineral markets on the continent of Africa. I stand here before you today as a testimony that Sierra Leone is an attractive place to do business. I want to convince you, I want to tell you that what you haven't heard about our country, we are here to tell you this morning. And I want you to believe also that we have all the policies in place, we have all the regulations, and our policies are not compulsory and not rigid. The only thing is, we did our best to make sure we stand out, and we want you to believe in that preaching this morning. And here we go. I want to assure you again that for you, the investors, I know you are looking for full-colored diamonds. We have it in Sierra Leone also. We have it in the southern part of my country called Bujam. And I want you to go there, especially for those that are doing trading jewelries in jewelries. We know how you need the fancy gold diamond stones. So we are encouraging you this morning also for you to know that we have fancy gold in our country, Sierra Leone. In the past, emphasis has been on alluvial mining, but now I want to tell you that we are more focused on kimberlite dikes. We have one mining company operating in that area of our country, in the east part of Sierra Leone, not to be specific. They are the Kwedo Holdings, now Kwedo Limited. So I want to reassure you this morning that our government is a serious government when it comes to mining. Let me end my presentation by reminding you that diamonds we all know are forever, borrowed from James Bond. And I want to tell you also that mining is not for the faint-hearted. Mining, I repeat, is not for the faint-hearted. Mining is for those who are ready to gain massive, to take critical risk to gain massive wealth. I'm encouraging you this morning. Please come to Sierra Leone. If you want to do mining in coltan, we have huge reserves. We have huge reserves. We're not only known for diamonds, we are also known for gold. In fact, when it comes to gold, when you go to the eastern part, we have 18 carats. When you go to the north of the country, we have 22 and above. Have good grades. And for iron ore also, we have good grades. And for rutile, we have good grades also. So we are encouraging you. The place is not highly competitive, and we have lands there, we have the concessions, we have everything ready for you. We have a very transparent policies. So I'm here this morning finally to tell you that we have a saying, we know a saying from the SAS, that he who dares wins. I'm telling you, come to Sierra Leone. You will never be the same again. Thank you.
Deputy Minister, thank you very much for the insights on some of the minerals and the direction in which the country is going with regards to the mining sector. Moving on as well, one of the other key points that we wanted to bring up today was another part of the extractive sector, which is obviously oil and gas. And next on stage, coming to the stage will be Mr. Fode Mansere, the Director General of PGSL, who would like to make some words and introduce you to some exciting new information with regards to the Sierra Leone oil and gas sector. Mr. Mansfield, thank you very much.
Your Excellency, Madam First Lady, Ministers of Government, Ambassadors, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, standing on existing protocols. As we all know, mining is one of the biggest sectors in Sierra Leone. And Sierra Leone now sits at the cusp of becoming an oil and gas producer. Our biggest, our most promisable prospect is the Sylvia Prospect Block 130. Now this is a prospect that contains 920 million barrels of oil equivalent. Volumetric studies have shown that investment for this prospect would be $14.7 billion for any investors coming in. And the profit for any investors is $33.2 billion. And this is worth a good $22 billion for the Sierra Leone economy. So we sit now at the cusp of development, and oil and gas, we want that to be part of the journey. So we are asking for investment into the sector to take Sierra Leone to the next level. We will be the next producing nation. We have done a lot of volumetric studies and seismic studies. Sierra Leone hosts a host of technical data, so any investors coming in would already have a platform to sit on, and we are very excited about our oil and gas opportunities. I thank you all very much for listening. Thank you.
Mr. Mansfield, thank you very much, and that concludes the two very insightful PowerPoints and presentations with regards to the extractable sector. Moving on, there's a sector that's very close to the hearts of both His Excellency and Her Excellency, and that's the tourism sector for the country. Next on stage, I'd like to introduce Mr. Charlie Hefner, Chairman of Monuments and the Relic Commission. Mr. Hefner, please come forward.
Your Excellency, sir, and Madam First Lady, members of the High Chair, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I stand on existing protocol. We are two in this presentation. My technical man will take over the baton from me after I give my brief introduction. In January 1839, a young Sierra Leonean man named Shenbe Pie, aged 26, was captured whilst on his way to his farm, sold, shipped across to Havana, Cuba, together with about 400 others, men, women, and children inclusive. After 3 nights aboard a slave ship named La Amistad that was transporting them, they, led by young Shenbe, revolted, killed the captain and cook, captured the ship, and demanded their owners sail them back home to Sierra Leone, where Shenbe Pie referred to as the land of the rising sun. But they ran out of luck, arrested by the American Navy, and charged to court with murder and piracy. But through the defense of a former United States president and retired lawyer, they won their case and were returned back to their native land, Sierra Leone, in 1842, only 3 years after their capture. They brought along with them American missionaries and started free, and may I add, quality education at what is to be Moyamba and Bond districts. Today, the remains of this great hero, Shenbe Pie, is resting in peace at Bond Shadow Island. That particular Amistad revolt triggered other copycat revolts that have led to the emancipation of the African mind. My name is Charlie Hefner. I am a playwright, a songwriter, oral historian, a tutor, actor, and publisher. I'm founder and proprietor of Sierra Leone's foremost theatre group called Freetown Players International. I'm founder chairman of the country's biggest cultural festival called Tangi's Festival International. I'm chairman Monuments and Relics Commission of Sierra Leone, and officer of the Order of the Roquel, OOR, recently conferred upon me by His Excellency President Julius Malagio. Thank you so very much, sir. I never stop thanking you. Thank you, Madam. will now call on my colleague, Timothy, to step forward and take over the baton.
Excellency, sir, First Lady, standing on existing protocol. I'm here today talking about promoting tourism through authentic African history and obviously special islands that we have. We've got so many stories, but the one that we are concentrating on today is the one that my colleague have just spoken about. Now, the story is unique in that that is the first slave that not only escaped but came back. The Maldives has over a 1.7 million passengers, that is tourists that comes to the country. This is something we can capture. This is something that we intend to leverage on as well. Chevron Island is one of the most beautiful islands in the world. Our team we visited these islands severally, and we can say that for sure is something that you can invest in. Now, let us start with our authentic history. The story we're talking about is Singapore. Number one, we do a documentary on the story. There've already been films on the story. There've been so many movies. Even it's been done by Steven Spielberg, did a movie on it. But what we're talking about, number one, is to shoot a 45 minutes documentary. Number two, we also shoot a docudrama. The film and this docudrama will incorporate the trail. That will be a commercial project. Then the third commercial project will be the film. This movie we have spoken about severally. These movies will be to New Haven, and they are ready to start the process. We are actually in a discussion with them already. Now the film, there's a movie called 12 Years a Slave. That movie cost $22 million to produce, but that movie made over 180 million. We intend to recreate the Singapore story, but this time around the location the budget we are looking at is under 10 million. But the box office takings will be over 400 million. Once we've done these documentaries and this film, we will now have a trail where Chevron Island. Once we have the trail in Chevron Island at the moment already, though it has an airport, the airport needs to be developed. Once we've developed the airport, you can bring in resorts, you can bring in the casinos, you can bring in practically everything. Where do we get our visitors? The visitors can come from Accra, Ghana. The visitors can come from Abuja. They have got so much money to spend, but they do not have the resources that are up to quality standards. Now, someone would say that the resource that we will produce in Africa might not meet international standards. That is not true. Because it is now cheaper to produce these resorts, very, very cheap, and also because we are leveraging on very good views. The beach that we have in Chevron Island is all white. Now, we are not talking about coming to cover the whole island in concrete. No. I've been to Tanzania, I've been to Uganda, I've seen some of the resorts they have there. They have a way of making it blend with the environment. Our job, or what we decide to do as with the team, is to make sure we make the environment better. Yes, it's going to be high class, but the difference being we are not isolating the indigenes there. It's going to be some of the best resorts ever. And it will not be a permanent structure, depending on the investor, obviously. It might be a structure we decide to live there for 10 years. After that, we have an Arabian feel. We might have the Chinese feel. We have the African feel. But the whole point is, we can make it so much better than the Maldives. Why? Because we have examples, and we can make it better. And we can make it better with less investment. And you have a government that is ready to support you all the way. Do we have other stories? Yes, we do. But why have we chosen this story? Freetown, Sierra Leone, is the only country that has got what is referred to as the freedom steps. Every other country where you've had slaves shipped out, you have what they call the point of no return. Freetown, from the name, like you know, is the only point where slaves came back. But what is unique about the story we are talking about, his wasn't 12 years before he came back to the country under frigate. The spirit of that one incident, that particular man, changed the whole face of slavery. We have to take advantage of this. And that particular history, is unique to Sierra Leone. That story, that history is unique to this island. If you invest in this particular island, if you invest in this story, you are guaranteed very good return on investment. Why? Marketing used to be very expensive. Marketing is no longer expensive. Once you market this particular island, give it a good name. Where do I start? Let's put it this way. Investment is strictly based on first come, first serve. If you're ready today, yes, we're ready to play ball. Let me not go too far and take up the stage, but what I will say, for the documentary that we'll start with, of which His Excellency is very interested in, the documentary, we are looking at a budget of 100,000. We are not here to discuss return on investment or for 100,000, no. So any of our friends or friends of Sierra Leone that is interested in saying, okay, for starters, we will sponsor, we will give grants for this particular documentary because this story is very important. Just speak to His Excellency or our CG and say, yes, we're going to cover this without return on investment, please. So before I conclude, I would like to call on my boss to come and tell us why the body of Sembe Pierre is presently in the island it is. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Our presentation is about a trail, a path that you follow. But for this time, we are following a particular person, Sembe Pierre. We follow him from his point of capture to his point of no return, where he was shipped, talking about. But as a history-making man, he was returned after 3 months. When he came back, there was controversy. I first did a play. I wrote a play that is being published now. It's called Amistad Katakata. In English, it's like Revolt. And then in that play, in 1988, when I first premiered it, the chief of Shabro Island, Madam Honoria Belokoka, was present at the ceremony. Shabro woman. And at the end of the play, she came right over to me backstage. She didn't wait for me, she came backstage and called me. Mr. Hafner, Sembe Pierre is not a Mende man, he's a Shabro. Here is his name. Pierre is Shabro. Change it. And since then she was after me, you have to change that. And then there's a strong association based in Bond Shabro, the Shabro Descendant Association. They also have been pursuing. Sembe belongs to Bond, it's a Shabro man. We have to take the remains that was in Moyamba district over to Bond. And he succeeded 5-6 years ago, and now the remains of Sembe flying in peace in Bond Shabro Island. That's how we got there. So in following this trail, as you can see, from when I was captured in Pujan district, 10-day march down towards the coast, shipped across, came back after 3 years, put in Moyamba district, mistakenly thinking that that was where he hailed from, and now he's been taken over to his real place. So that is the trail we are following. Bond Shabro Island, and that's the emphasis by my colleague about Bond Shabro. Bond Shabro is going to be the end of the trail. So that is what we'll be following. And that's why it's the end. And that is why Sembe Pierre Shabro is now in Bond Shabro, the district of President. So we're delighted about that, and we're all glad that Sembe is there, and that is where our team will end. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, thank you very much for all your time. You've heard from our speakers today, but as the First Lady first said when she came up to the stage, there's more than just this in Sierra Leone. There's multiple sectors that the government is looking to pursue, and there's many more conversations to be had. Despite the fact that the tourism and the mining sessions are very inspiring, and the history certainly is very eye-opening for everybody in the room, I do encourage you all to engage with the government of Sierra Leone to talk about other sectors as well while we're here, whether it's special economic zones, energy, agriculture, fisheries, all things that are going to help project the social and economic development of the country to where we all want it to be. So I think this is your time now, and I'd like to open the floor, if I may, for a small Q&A session. I know sometimes in the room it can be quite daunting, but please do come forward, and after that we will also be having some networking time with all of the officials here, so you can have some time with them. So please go ahead, sir. If you'd like to state your name and company as well, and then who you'd like some questions to.
Good morning, Your Excellency. My name is Dr. Mustafa Sasa. We are based in Dubai since 1958, originally from India. We are into training, manufacturing and services. Your Excellency, it was a very convincing statement, from welcoming the investors and creating an ecosystem where the investments can thrive and benefit for the investors and the country overall. We have developed a human development protocol, which Her Excellency mentioned in her speech, which can transform the entire, the habitat of the country into the next level, which I had a very brief discussion with the Deputy Commissioner. I look forward to have a detailed meeting with your Ministry of Human Resource, where I can explain this and take it further. Apart from this, we are into manufacturing of herbal cosmetics and pencils made out of waste newspaper. That's a very eco-friendly product which we have gained a lot of awards, including the Steve Jobs Gold Category Innovation Award last year. So we manufacture pencils out of newspaper. These are the products we'd like to encourage in eco-friendly, and water is my domain on expertise. We can definitely work into agriculture and take it further. So I would seek the appointment with the relevant department in the ministries to take this thing further, and look forward to visit Sierra Leone very soon. Our African headquarters is in Rwanda right now, in Kigali. Very soon we are opening one in Ghana, and then regional offices across many countries in Africa. Thank you, Excellency, for wonderful insights given about the Sierra Leone, and we look forward to collaborate in a big way. Thank you, Excellency. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I don't know if there'd be a response from the lead table, or if you'd just like to go into some more questions. More questions, no problem. Susanna, there's a gentleman at that. If you could state your name and company, please, sir.
Can you hear me? Right. Thank you very much, Your Excellencies. My name is Sanjeev Gupta. I'm a board member of Africa Finance Corporation, which is an institution I think that you're aware of. I just wanted to reiterate and reconfirm some of the comments that was made by Her Excellency and Your Excellency, which is how business-friendly Sierra Leone really is. I think it is important for this audience here to know that as Africa Finance Corporation, we have been blessed in the recent months with the support that we received from your office and your administration. As you may be aware, we are looking at a $500 million project in the mining sector. We're also looking at a $250,000 in the hydropower sector. So as AFC, which is Africa's largest infrastructure financing institution, I just wanted everybody to know how pleased we are working with you and your administration, and how we wish to do more with you and your administration. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Adil Jalil, and I'm Director Marketing for Transport Aviation. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Mr. President, and the First Lady, for giving us the opportunity to meet the delegates and be present over here. One of the important factors is the connectivity. What are your plans on the aviation sector and the maritime sector for Sierra Leone? That's my first question. Secondly, both the sectors have relevance to the neighboring countries. And if you look from Senegal to Nigeria, there are almost about 12 countries, and about 5 to 6 countries are neighboring Sierra Leone. So what is the relationship that is between the countries and in these two, aviation and maritime sector? Thank you. And just to add, we are an Emirati company and we have presence in Africa, many of the African countries, and we would like to explore the opportunities in Sierra Leone.
Are we able to kindly take 2 additional questions so that His Excellency can answer a number of questions together? Are there any other related questions to the question that has just been raised? Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Zena Samwa from a company called Parima Investments in South Africa. We do mining, we do a lot of coal, a lot of copper and zinc as well, and interested in the gold space in Sierra Leone. But as an investment company, we attend a lot of these events. I think my main question is there a point of entry, or is there an index page, if I were to say an index page into such? We're done after this event, we're interested, we want to go to Sierra Leone. Who do we then make contact to? Rather than having to send an email to an info address, or rather than having to send an email to an embassy that will respond after 10 years, because the reality of it is that there are other countries that are crying for this $1 million that we've got to spend. But I wouldn't want to go back and say, oh God, I still have to find someone. What was the guy's name? If there was an availability of a resource center, someone where I just know and say, my name is Zenith, I was in this, I'm interested in this space, send me the detail, let's take it forward from there. That's it.
I think I saw 1 or 2 more hands. Are there further questions?
There's one here.
Your Excellency, we represent a UAE investment company that has invested in tourism, so it's related to the question on aviation and connectivity. We opened hotels in Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania, Zambia, Kenya, and Mauritius, and all of them do have air connectivity. So to be able to come into your part of West Africa, to come to Sierra Leone, we'd like to understand how we can bring passengers from Dubai, from London, and from other major markets. And from entering Sierra Leone, what they can do there. Would it be business? Would it be leisure? Would it be staycations? What kind of business are you trying to drive in the tourism sector?
Ladies and gentlemen, one more question, sir. You'd like to cover the point? Sorry, one second. We'll just answer the questions that we currently had.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think on the aviation and the transportation generally, both aviation and maritime, that is a space that needs to be engaged. And we are ready and willing to engage interested partners. We definitely have a challenge there. And if we open up the country, it is a transformational sector, because from the data given, you notice that we are only 4 hours away from Brazil and 6 from Europe, and we have a sub-regional market that is huge, and a continental market that is also huge. So we can be the hub or host to a lot of companies that can access the whole of the 1.2 billion people in Africa. So aviation and connectivity is important, and we are willing on this trip. The Minister for Aviation is not here, but the Chief Minister is here, who can engage anybody who wants to engage now or immediately after this meeting. And that's the same for the gentleman from South Africa who doesn't want a number, but a human being to interact with. I have the minister here, the deputy minister, and also the director general of the mines. So you can engage them. Is the minister in?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you have a human being to interface with immediately after. We are not going to give you numbers. The numbers will come later. The deputy minister also, you saw her here just now, so you can engage them and continue with that engagement. I think those are the two. The others were basically complimentary statements, and I thank you for those. Yeah, he was talking about connectivity too. Yes, and that is a space.
And the political scenario between Sierra Leone and the neighboring countries.
We did say we are a stable democracy, and we are part of the ECOWAS sub-region, and of course, an integral part of Africa. So we have no challenges in our relationship. We are a peaceful nation, and we are at peace with all our neighbors and the continent. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've approached mining, connectivity. If there's other questions on energy or any other sectors that you'd like to raise for HE or anybody else on the board panel.
Your Excellency, First Lady, this is from the Swedish group. Allow me to introduce Swedish group. We had the honor to receive the award, the first company in Africa from your God handed to Gariwata event last few years. And we are an Egyptian-based company working infrastructure project for about public listed company, $4 billion annual turnover with 15,000 employees. And we have the honor also to work in Sierra Leone for renewable power energy. And we are encourage all our friends here. It's very good environment for do business in Sierra Leone. We are doing very good business. And we are seeking also our support to expand our business in different infrastructure projects as we are leading the consortium for building the mega project, hydro project in Tanzania. It's a $3 billion project under construction now. And we also very much interested to invest in Sierra Leone up to $1 billion according to your direction in project financing with our partner and financial institute, as we did around $1.3 billion investment in Africa last 3 years. Thank you, Your Excellency, and we'll be very interested to invest more in Sierra Leone under your supervision and your direction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And we'll take some questions in batches. If there's any other questions before HE responds. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for visiting Dubai, and I'm very happy to hear the spirit behind your team and how much you guys are working very hard in making your country a prime example in Africa. The location is excellent. You said it yourself. 4 hours away from Brazil, 6 hours away from Europe. That by itself is a gift. My question to you, 10 years from now, where do you want to see Sierra Leone? Do you want it to be a Singapore, a Hong Kong, a Dubai? What is your vision of Sierra Leone? Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We've got time for one more question before His Excellency and the team respond. If there's someone, please.
Your Excellency, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I would encourage by my colleague to ask a question. In fact, I'm Abu Bakr Ismail and I work for Real Reality, a company that promotes Africa within the Gulf region. and I'm interested to learn about this subject that's close to your heart, which is human capital. In terms of the universities, the in-country value initiatives that they're doing, hopefully with all these billions that will inshallah come into Sierra Leone, how is that trickling down to enable the university students getting into the job market? If we can hear more about that, it would be great. Thank you so much, and thank you for giving the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. So if we just turn back and respond.
Thank you very much. We start with the where I want to be. I definitely want to be Singapore or Dubai, but I know in the next 10 years we'll not get there. I have to be practical. I am ambitious, but not over ambitious. We want to be a middle income country in 10 years. We will want to be a Dubai or Singapore much later, but that means that is why we are here inviting you to go and invest in our country. Be patient investors and invest with a conscience so that we share the benefit. Some remains in the country so that we can plow into the human capital development. For me, that is the precious mineral that we have. Much more than gold, rutile, bauxite, diamond, and the many things that we have. So we are already putting 22% of our own budget, national budget clearly, into human capital development. We have made education free for every child born in Sierra Leone. The grandchild doing science can go to school from pre-primary to university at the cost of government. We have opened up the spaces for the grandchild to go to school. To be able to go to school without impediments, and a lot is happening in that space. So I believe that with time we will have a much better nation, and this is because the Singapore, Dubai, and the other places, the UAE that we are talking about, have invested quite a lot in education, and therefore, if we should get to where they are today, we have to heavily invest, and we are doing that. We are not just churning, we don't want our universities to churn out people who we go and start looking out for jobs. We want them to create jobs for themselves. So entrepreneurship is a huge part of what we are teaching today in our schools. And for us, having been at the receiving end of the first, second, and third revolutions in the world, we want to lead the next revolution, which is looming, the fourth industrial revolution. So we are engaged in fit-for-purpose education, one that we place our next generation of citizens at the forefront of the fourth industrial revolution. And we are very, very busy doing that at the moment. So it's not just education as usual. I normally tell them that even my own education is becoming obsolete because what we want to impart to our kids is what is necessary for the fourth industrial revolution. So we are definitely preparing them to create jobs and not to be job seekers.
So ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the Q&A session for today. Before I wrap up, I'd like to invite one last guest to the stage, His Excellency Rashid Sesse, Ambassador for Sierra Leone and the United Arab Emirates, for a vote of thanks. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, President Julius Madam, our beloved First Lady, Chief Minister, Ministers and Deputy Ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would say gentlemen and ladies in development, good afternoon. We are honored and delighted this afternoon to have no less a person than our President, who I describe as our #1 marketer. He has said it all. the assurances that you need, the confidence, the information that you need to make a business decision whether to go to Sierra Leone. I think he has presented that. He has made a strong case, backed by our experts who have done excellently in telling you more about what we have. Even at that, they have underestimated what we provided to say we have more really to present, but that will be done when you come to Sierra Leone. I want to thank them very much for doing that, and to thank you all for coming here this morning and up to this afternoon. It's up to you. I'm sure the organizers, the secretariat here, have done an excellent job in pulling this team together of investors who are interested in going to Sierra Leone. But I think the work is still there, it's in process. We have to move from this. I'm sure the next step will be collecting information about what your interests are, your contacts, so that follow-up could be done as expected of such a gathering. We don't want to finish here and then we don't have follow-up actions and people say we gathered. So our team will do that excellent job. Thank you very much for coming. I wish you all the best. Sierra Leone is open for business at any time. It's the best place to go. Lovely people. The confidence that we have is to open our doors to all of you. As the President said, patient investors on a win-win basis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency. So that concludes the day's proceedings, but we're all remaining on hand in the building to carry on. There's refreshments as well that we provided. So we can spend the next 30 minutes to an hour networking with each other and also networking with the officials from Sierra Leone. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Thank you for your effort coming to see us. And we look forward to seeing you in the Republic of Sierra Leone. Thank you very much.
I don't know what this is about. Can we go? Can we go?
Yes, subscribe. You always dey watch we program them, but you not subscribe to the channel. All wetin you get to do, press this red subscribe button, and then you come over here and press this bell. So the bell option, press this one with all. And done. And no get for cost you anything. When you do this, na sign for show say you dey support we for make we do more. Thank you for all your help for share this program. Yeah! God bless you.